Welcome to the Overland podcast. Today was about the Spurs game at home at Stamford Bridge, which is happening tomorrow night. Um, Andrew, Chelsea are ninth, still. Played 33, won 13, drawn 9, lost 11 with 48 points. Spurs, on the other hand, are fifth. They have played 33, won 18, drawn 6, lost 9, and are on 60 points. Injuries wise, Chelsea have 14 injuries.
Nice. Is
So
that a new record? I feel like that's a new record, isn't it?
not be far off. I mean, mate, that's not far off an entire team with subs. I mean, I know we're allowed 7 subs now, aren't we? Or we're
It's,
allowed more, but in terms of
it's 7 subs, I think. I think it's almost a full match day squad.
it is. I mean, if you think about it, before we had 7, you had 5 subs available, didn't you?
Mm.
So we're going for we're literally what?
Four
Two
players off.
players, 2 players off.
4 players off.
No, because you got the starting 11 plus 5.
Why have you got 5 and 7?
No, I'm saying, but like traditionally, so yeah, all right, 4 if you're going over 7. But yeah, it's I mean, to be fair, with our luck, by the end of the season, we could have an entire match day squad or on the injury list.
Yeah.
So Spurs only have 7, to be fair.
Are they important ones, at least?
There's a few. There's a few.
Okay.
Not compared to Chelsea's. Like it's
Sure. Bring
so
us one.
the good news is Colwill and Cuckoo are in training. And I have heard Cuckoo could be available. Um,
Which you've heard the last month.
Well, exactly, but he is actually in training. I have seen photos of him in training. Colwell might come in handy if he's able to play, and you'll see why in a minute. Reece James is in partial training along with Sanchez, Sterling, and Big Les, Ugo Chukwu.
What happened to Sterling? I thought it was just ill.
I thought that as well. I actually thought he'd recover and he'd probably be starting because Mudryk
Yeah.
hasn't played well the last 2 games. But he's only in partial team training, so there's got to
Right.
be.
Okay.
Dizazi is now injured after coming on for what, 5 minutes, 10 max against Villa. So he's being assessed. Silva is going through rehabilitation, as is Chukwuemeka, Enzo Fernandez, Ben Chilwell, Gusto, Fofana, and Lavia. So from a defensive point of view, we are really struggling.
So we've we've not really got right back. We've got Alfie that will stick out there.
We've got Alfie because beforehand I was like, right, I know exactly what our starting, what our defense will be, and now I'm going, well, I know what it is now, but just due to the fucking injuries.
Yeah. So okay, so our back basically
Our back
who can
four,
we put out?
our back four is,
Yeah,
as far as I'm
Alfie.
aware, Gilchrist,
Yeah,
Calabar, Badiashile, and Cucurella, who have, and again, I
yeah,
don't think those 4 have played together before. That would
yeah,
be an interesting statistic. How many different back lines have we had this season?
yeah. I mean, it depends how many defenders we've got and who's played this season. I guess I think we've probably had almost every combination we can have, other than the fact that Reece James has been injured so much he can't have been in all the combinations he could have possibly been in, and probably similar for Chilwell. But I think outside of that, we've probably had basically every combination that everyone could have played with.
I don't think Cole will. I don't think Cole was played with Gilchrist. But that could change this. That could change this weekend if he's available. Because I mean, let's face it, he's got to be put on the bench. If he's in partial team training, surely he's got to be on the bench because we
Yeah,
have no cover now.
yeah.
Um, so with that being said,
Who
so,
are the Tottenham injuries of interest?
sorry, Tottenham injuries. Udogi is out for the season. Apparently, he might not. I've been talking to a Spurs fan this week. Apparently, he's apparently not due back until the beginning of next season. Um, Fraser Forster, Sessegnon, Werner, Solomon, Ben Davies, or Davis, and Oliver Skip.
Okay. So really, they're struggling at left back,
They're struggling at left back. Yeah, they're
but
talking about.
basically everything else, other than maybe they would select to play Werner out wide, sounds like it's pretty much first team.
Yeah, I mean it's not awful.
Yeah, I don't think any of those you're drastically tearing stuff down. I think obviously they start the season without Werner, and I
Well,
don't
he's
think
only on loan anyway until the summer, so he's probably out for.
yeah they've got an option to buy. That they're thinking about apparently, but personally I wouldn't put him in the starting 11 for Tottenham if I was picking it. So, but some people would. Yeah, fine. Doesn't sound like they're particularly weak from injuries. It sounds like a lot of periphery players, basically, which isn't helpful.
No, not really. Um, I mean, they haven't. They've been a bit up and down recently. Like we have, we had a little chat about it off screen. So before we started this, so forgive me if I get some of the scores wrong. You can correct me. They lost 3-2 to Arsenal and
Yeah,
came back from 3-0 down. You said they before that they lost to Newcastle 4-0.
yeah.
And then what did you say they
I think
beat?
they beat. Oh, in the last five, they've beaten Forest and Luton and drew against West Ham. I don't know what order the others were in.
Yeah, and lost to Fulham, I think you said as well.
Other than the one before that was lost to Fulham. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean they are a bit up and down like us at the moment, which is intriguing because obviously they started the season so well and then they struggled due to what I would say is a lack of depth in the squad. Um,
Uh, yeah, but I think in fairness, it was a lot of their sort of key players or players that are incredibly helpful for them. I mean, Madison, both of their starting centre backs when it yeah. I mean, there is a lack of depth there, but there's only you can't have two Madisons in your team, really. You're gonna
no,
try,
no, you can't have two Madisons.
so it's difficult. Starting 11s.
Yeah, why not? Fire away.
We might as well stick the back four in that we just spoke about because I've already forgotten because it's trash. Um,
I mean, having said that,
if everyone's fit, I'm not starting a single one of that back four. I know you're thinking about Trev.
that's
I'd,
no, that is the only one that I'm thinking
I'd
about.
have Wes Fofana in there, but he's been injured for so long. I'm assuming you've forgotten about him.
No, I know I'm fully aware of him. I'm not being funny. He's been injured for so long. I've forgotten what he's like.
Mm. Yeah,
But that's not me saying he's
got
a
a
bad
back
player.
four of basic. It's basically our reserve team back four. Petrovic started the season as our reserve goalkeeper, but I'd have him instead of Sanchez. It's depressing. Anyway, midfield: Caicedo, Gallagher, Cole Palmer.
Mm. Caicedo, Gallagher, and Cole Palmer.
So we stick Noni on the right, left as we're looking at. It's gonna have to be Madrid. I just don't.
Well, what else are you gonna do?
I don't want. That's what
No,
I'm
no,
thinking.
no. I get. I know.
I'm
No, I get
desperately
you
trying
don't
to
want it.
search for something. I'm trying to think of like, oh, can we stick Jackson out wide left, Palmer up front, but we haven't got a centre. I mean,
The only
fuck
way
it.
that
Actually, to make a point,
the
that's
only
what
way
we
that
do.
this happens, the only way that happens is you've got to then you put in surely Cassadine.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. To make a point of Mudryk has been poor the last couple of games.
No, he has. He really has.
Cole Palmer's going to be up front through the middle.
Not Noni.
No. Although you're making me second guess myself now. Oh, fuck it. Do you know what? Noni on the other wing, Cole on that the wing that Noni's on at the minute. Yeah. Yeah. Move Connor forward. Cassadai in there. And then stick Jackson up front. Which tactically, when I really think about it, probably isn't the right approach because Tottenham like playing a high line, which might mean that Mudryk's got space behind to run into, but he doesn't fucking actually use the space anyway. So probably a fucking waste of time having him there. But yeah, that's the team that I think should start because everyone else is fucking injured anyway. But that's what we're going with.
I mean, I don't dislike it. And to be fair, to give Jackson props, he's played well. Like he's held the ball up well.
Oh yeah, I wasn't going to not play Jackson. I was
Yeah.
just going to try and work out a way that we can not play Mudryk and also have somewhat wingers further forward. And that makes more sense than what I was trying to fucking do.
Yeah. I mean, either way, the wingers will probably need to track back in this game. Something that we haven't done apart from over the last few games, apart from the second half against Aston Villa. Do you know what? I'm not even going to argue this. I'm not even going to argue this team. We're very limited. Like
Yeah.
I do think he'll probably play Mudryk.
Yeah,
And
I think he will play Mudryk.
I think it'll be the same team that we had in terms of bar the defense. I think it'll be the same team that we had against Villa.
Yeah.
So we'll stop that. We'll stop showing this. But it really does just go to show when you see it like that, like you are so limited. I mean, we're gonna have a bunch of youngsters on the bench again. So with that being said, what are you expecting in this game?
A lot of running, a lot of effort. I need to see on both sides of the ball. To be honest, honestly, how we played against Aston Villa in the second half, but for 90 minutes, that's what I want. Whether that's possible or not, I don't know, but that's what I want.
Well, this is the question, isn't it? The question is why is it not possible? Like what is it? I mean, I don't know what was different. What happened?
Everyone seems to get injured trying to do it. Is the problem?
Yeah, but just looking at the first half and the second half of Villa, it's like, well, why are we not starting games like that? Like, do you know what I mean? It's the same thing happened against Liverpool in the final. And then there's certain games like Man United, we start really well, then we lull, and then we came back into it. Like, I don't understand some of it. I don't know. I think it's just a big mentality thing to a certain degree. It's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, I agree. Lots of running. And also, do you know what? Let's face it, this is Spurs. It's going to be a physical game.
Yeah.
And I think whoever wins the physicality is going to win the match.
Yeah.
Which I am slightly worried about, if I'm brutally honest.
Yeah, I am. I think they always kick lumps out of us.
Yeah, and I'm worried about who's going to be able to keep a level head. Like Connor will, but I'm worried about a lot of other players whether they can keep a level head or not.
I'm hoping we get some decent officiating and a couple of their players get sent off because
What again?
yeah. I mean, to be honest, they were lucky to not get sent off earlier. So
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. Especially Udogi.
I think Romero's was.
Yeah.
I think Romero did a straight red challenge.
Before the Enzo one.
Yeah, I think Tottenham come to our play and Tottenham when we play them just try and kick lumps out of us and have done since the Battle of the Bridge. And I think I struggle to think of too many games between us where I don't think Tottenham were lucky to have 9 players on the pitch at the end, let alone the 11 they usually have had.
Even before the Battle of the Bridge, like it's been like that. I said this to the Spurs fan that I was talking to during the week. I said to him, I said, I actually think that the derby between Spurs and Chelsea now is bigger than the derby between Spurs and Arsenal. Like that will always be big because it's Spurs and Arsenal. But in terms of like physicality, in terms of just like the
I
emotion.
think in terms of how the players play, yes. I
Yeah.
don't think so in fans' minds.
Yeah, no, fair, but but I don't really get it. It's weird. I don't understand where it's all come from. It's just sort of like built up and built up and built up.
Hmm.
But it is going to be an interesting game because like we said, both teams have been all over the place recently. Spurs are definitely going to want to prove a point after we beat them 4-2 and they went down to 9 men, and two of those goals came very late on in the game. So I
Hmm.
think they're going to want to prove a point, which is slightly concerning. Um, and also, it's interesting because Spurs are eyeing up Conor Gallagher at the moment for the summer, which I'm not happy.
Don't blame them.
No, I don't blame him. I think he'd be a good fit, but I'm not happy about it.
No.
So,
What's your score prediction, Matthew?
do you know what? With that defense, I don't know. Do you know what? I think we're going to struggle. The reason I think we're going to struggle is because Alfie Gilchrist struggled against Arsenal. No offense to the lad. Um,
But he's only
Spurs.
got Hyungmin Son to defend against.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Um,
Would think that he's better than Trossard personally.
oh no, I do. I do.
Probably.
But Trossard's having a very good season. I think he's actually had a very, very good spell.
Oh, Trossard is not someone to sleep on. He's a very good player, but I
No,
think
I put Son in front of him. Yeah, absolutely. You know, probably Richarlison up front. And what I'm more worried about is it's just keeping that defensive line solid because against Arsenal it was all over the place. Um, and that's the biggest worry I have. So yeah, so I could see Spurs. I could see it being if we're on it could honestly be 3-3. It could honestly be 3-3. Like I could see this being full of goals. I really can see it being full of goals. I'm hoping we get three.
yeah,
But I could honestly see it. If the wingers don't track back, we 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 could be overrun. But Poch did Poch did change the tactics, and if he starts that tactic that he did in the second half, where Cucurella was more in the midfield, helping Caicedo, that will boss the midfield a bit more, which will take pressure off. So if he does that, I actually think we've got a good chance.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Aston Villa barely had a shot in the second half, so if we can play like that for 90 minutes, we've got a decent chance. I'm going to go 2-1.
Got two on Chelsea.
Yeah, just more hopefully than anything because I can't see us winning the game. If I want to predict a win to be positive.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to predict a loss against bloody Spurs at home, and I'd hate for us to lose to Spurs in general, let alone at home. But
I think it's plausible that we could win 2-1, but I don't think that's the most likely outcome. Let's put it that way. Um, but I think if we play the way that we played against Villa, I think we can get a win, and I think 2-1 makes sense. I don't. It depends what Chelsea turn up because if they've got the shooting boots on, I do see us creating a fair amount of chances if Tottenham played the way that they played against us at their place because they do
oh,
like a
I
high
know,
line and we've got some players that can run in behind. If they're struggling at left back, I don't know who's been filling in there. That's probably a pretty reasonable area that we can exploit. Pedro Porro is probably playing there, and then they've probably got someone else that's a normal right back that I can't think of the name of right now.
the
But
it's been suggested that Emerson Royale will play left back.
yeah, fine. Um, but
But
yeah,
I think we've
to be
got
honest, their defense is quick, but I think if we time it right and we do get a few balls over the top, I do think that we can get at them. And it's just about do we have our shooting boots on or not on the day. But yeah, I'm going to hope for 2-1. And I'm going to hope that Jackson gets a goal. And I'm going to hope that Jackson gets another goal because he likes scoring against Spurs.
Like scoring against Spurs.
He scored 3. What more do you want?
There were 9 men down when he got to it.
Yeah, he likes scoring against them.
Oh,
He was having a lot of fun when he
played
scored
them.
against
He's
them.
played against them once.
Yeah, and
That's a
he likes
bold
scoring against
statement to make. It's a really bold statement to make.
he was having a lot of fun. I could see on his face he was having a lot of fun when he was scoring against Spurs. So,
Well, who wouldn't?
well, there you go. He likes scoring against them. So hopefully, he takes that into the game and puts the ball in the back of the net.
2-1 Jackson. Bloody hell. Well,
Well, you've
Arsenal
done 3-3. Who have you got?
3-3. Madueke 100%.
So he's not scoring. I
Huh?
think he's not scoring.
Who?
Madueke.
You don't think he's going to score?
Well, not now. You said he's going to score 100%.
I just got a feeling. I'm really happy with how he's progressed this season. I had doubts with him.
Tottenham Academy boy as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna go Madueke. I'm gonna go Connor, and I'm gonna go just for shits and gigs. I'm gonna go with Nkuku off the bench.
Shock.
I know.
Don't even know that he's fit. But
Well, you got to make it interesting somehow, haven't you?
if anyone's going to score off the bench, it's hopefully Madrid because he doesn't start. But
Yeah, that's not bad. So,
move.
um, anything else for this episode?
No, if I'm honest, I just want this fucking season to end at this point. We've got fuck all to play for, and we've just got so many players injured that it's not actually beneficial because we're not like, even if you brought in, you can see what a couple of players can do. They're not playing with the team that they're going to play around. Does that makes sense. So frustrating. I feel like it's a waste of time at the minute.
No, I agree. It's very up in the air. We've said before with regards to certain players playing for their futures. Silva. I mean, to be fair, Silva could have played his last game for us, and he could have gone off injured, which is quite disappointing.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just the club is literally all over the place at the moment, and I don't feel like there's an awful lot left to do in terms of what we can do at the end of this season. And then even moving forward, there's a lot of questions to be asked. Certain players are running out of contracts. We've got players coming back from loan who don't actually want to be at this club anymore. So yeah, it's just crazy, and I agree because even when people are saying, "Oh yeah, they've still got like a slight chance to get into Europe," I think still we might not even be able to play in Europe anyway because of the financial fair play. So
I think with the injuries we've got, there's fuck all chance we're getting into Europe. There's just not.
yeah, and that's a fair
We've
point.
got
But
what 12 fit first team players. Like,
even hypothetically, if we did put it out of the bag, like it's one of those things where, oh, cool, they got into Europe, but by the way, you're now not going to get into because of the financial fair play. Like, it's just that would be like the bitter, sour cherry on top of the cake.
mm.
It really has been, I think, a disappointing season for lots of reasons. So, yeah, no, I concur. I think the sooner this season ends, the better. Um, and probably hit the reset button for the summer. So yeah, right. Well, with that positive outlook, thank you all for watching the Overland Sea podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, follow, hit the notification button, and stay tuned for the post-game analysis that will be recorded and released on Friday. Thank you for watching.